He was among the most popular men in Pittsburgh, winning 2 Stanley Cups with the Penguins, enjoying good health and great wealth, adored by fans. Kevin Stevens had it all.
He wanted my life, and I had it, and then I made this decision.
One night of partying and then the hit. A devastating injury led to opioid painkillers and dropped him into a downward spiral of addiction. There were arrests, rehab, relapse. He lost everything.
I wish I didn't do what I did.
After 22 years, he got sober, and now Kevin Stevens is warning young athletes about opioids.
I've seen it so many times. I work with all these different people. So many kids are dropping dead because, it's pain pills and the fentanyl.
On a warm autumn day, hundreds of high school athletes from the Pittsburgh area gathered to hear Kevin Stevens tell his story.
The next thing you know, my life is way up here, and I did that drug. Now you guys know it. You can look and it just goes like this. And that's what life, that's what it does to you.
He shared the stage with a drug counselor and the mother of a student who overdosed and died.
He rode, he played football until 9th grade, he was in the choir, he was the homecoming king, very, very social.
Do any of you have any advice?
This was a no-holds-barred forum, an open conversation between teens and the adults who have experienced firsthand the devastation of addiction.
How do you approach somebody that you think may have an addiction problem?
Decisions are consequences.
For these young athletes, it was a time for tough questions, a time for frank answers.
I know how bad this could get because I lived it.
A time out to talk about opioids.
Welcome, all of you, to our Student Athlete Leadership Summit. That we want to try to be creative in the ways that we raise awareness, help each other, support each other as a community and as a friend, and to just destigmatize, stop judging people, people that are suffering from addiction, families and friends that are also suffering with them. We're going to learn today about some of those issues, and we encourage you guys to talk about it too.
I love competition, I love sports. Someone handed me this thing, I know it was cocaine now. I didn't even know what it was. And I kind of went in the bathroom and I made a choice. And from that point on, the next 22 years of my life changed. Because I made a bad decision. I made one 10-second decision that changes the path of my life. That night I thought I was just doing it to have a good time, right? But something in my brain changed. The chemistry changed a little bit. It took me from winning Stanley Cup's first team All-Star 20 years ago to having someone bust my door down. That's where addiction brought me. That's reality.
Mr. Stevens, you said you played 3 sports. How would you handle some of your other teammates if they were caught in the drug issues or alcohol?
It's a tough question. All you can do is really, to be your friend. You be a friend and you kind of talk to them. And the biggest thing about, when you're an addict and people came and talked to me or whatever, I never thought I was an addict. I was in denial for a long time. If you think that person is in danger, you got to tell some counsels or someone. All it takes is one decision, and he won't be there tomorrow. That's how serious this stuff is.
Every 96 minutes, someone overdoses. Did you know that? Every 96 minutes. And the difference is with opioid use and marijuana and sometimes with crack cocaine is with opioid use, all it takes is one hit and it impacts the brain. It feeds on the opioid receptors, it grabs it, and it mimics the neurons you already have in your brain. So your brain and your body can't really tell the difference at first, and then you're hooked.
We wanted to know, how could we help someone who refuses help with drug addiction?
If you have a loved one or a friend that's struggling with addiction, you need to tell an adult. Your friend might be angry with you, and guess what? That's okay, because angry is way better than dead. He wasn't a junkie. He was lovable, well-liked, but secretly troubled. And on January 1st, at about 8:45 in the morning, we found him dead in his bedroom. You can't force them into it. But what is really, really important is what Kelly said before about not judging and reinforcing that you're gonna be their friend no matter what, and making sure, maybe protecting them from others who may not be so kind. I think that's the most important thing. I think one of the universal aspects of addiction is people feel unworthy, they feel that nobody loves them, and they feel very alone. If you're at a party and you have a friend who drinks too much or overdoses or is in trouble, any type of trouble like that, if you call authorities, medical authorities or the police, and you stay with that person until they arrive, no one in that premises can be charged. So don't let your friend die on the floor. Make the call.
What would you say is the hardest part about recovery, and how would you help and support someone through it?
You have to change. You have to be have willingness to change everything pretty much in your life. For me, it's just about, it was about people helping me. I'm an addict, I'm a drug addict. I need to hang around people that are doing the right thing.
To what extent do you think social media has in perpetuating this issue? And what should we be aware, like when we look at something or hear something, what should be going through our minds?
I think social media has a large impact on this issue. I think that the music industry glamorizes opioid addiction, but I also think that on social media, you'll see your peers or someone you may know posting pictures, smoking weed or getting high. You can inbox them and say, hey, I saw you on social. You don't have to post it on there, but inbox them individually and just say, hey, I saw this on your page and I'm just concerned. Let me know if you want to talk. Because usually when they're posting images like that, usually it's because they're hurting inside.
What are some catchphrases or different ways that they can get out of a situation that might be one of those 10-minute second decisions where they're at a party and they either have to choose to or not to?
Sometimes it's easier to help them come up with a lie to tell their peers. To say, okay, well, oh yeah, my mom just called. I need to get home, because sometimes they may not be ready to say, I'm making a choice not to engage in this behavior because of the fear that it may have and the impact it may have on their participation in that social group.
Do any of you have any advice on how to live like a balanced life with sports and school, work, and friendships and everything?
At least give yourself some patience and be kind to yourself. Because when you're between the ages of 13 to 25, you're thinking from the back of your brain. So your abstract thinking to think about multiple issues at one time is not all the way there.
How was your family affected by this? And then the effect that had, how did they help you in your recovery process along the way?
I was married, I had 3 kids, I had to get divorced, like all these things that I built my whole life for, being a great hockey player, having a family, all these things addiction took, and that's the nature of the beast. It's not something, it affects everything, it affects everybody, it ruins, it smashes families, it's one of those things where, it smashed my family, it smashed my parents, my sisters, now, thank God they hung in there, and I got sober, and now they're a very big part of my family.
I grew up watching you, Kevin, so I was like, Kevin Stevens is here? No one told me? I can't believe this. This is so cool. But the thing that I just want to say to everybody is a lot of your questions that you guys had were, what can I do for my friend? And you want to approach your friend, and you want to help them, but you should also know the burden shouldn't fall on you. Don't feel like you have this burden of, I want to do something for my friend. People are here, this whole thing happened because we care about you, we care about your friends, and we care about students, we care about kids, we want you to make good decisions. So find an adult that you trust, find someone that you trust, and go to them and let them know, hey, this person needs help, because you might not have the power to do that. So if you see something, go tell someone. You're not going to be a narc, you're not going to get grief for it. So feel free to approach someone and find someone you're comfortable with. So I just wanted to pass that on to you guys. Thanks.
It was, eye-opening, someone that could be such a role model to, I'm assuming, so many people.
Talking to, engaging, that engagement piece is so important.
There's other ways to feel better without taking drugs.
I can go to high school and help one person in the morning, like they say, it changed the way of thinking, and it's worth for me to get up.